imagine you won the lottery tomorrow. Imagine your numbers came up and you just received millions and millions of pounds your direction, and you could just go onto your Amazon account and keep clicking add to basket, add to basket, add to basket, and you wouldn't even have to worry about what the sum total came to. For most of us, that's a bit of a pipe dream. But for King Solomon at this point in 1 Kings, that's actually his reality. He is seriously wealthy and things for Israel are going seriously well. The building of the temple has been completed and Israel are in a good way. You can see in verses 14 to 29, economically things are brilliant for Israel. We can see the wealth that they enjoy. So much so that verse 21 says that silver counted as nothing. Israel is an amazing place to be, and other people are starting to recognize that Israel is an amazing place to be, even people from foreign lands. And in chapter 10 of 1 Kings, we see one particular individual, the Queen of Sheba, be attracted to Israel to come and see what all the fuss is about. And as she comes, she's blown away by Solomon's wealth and wisdom. And not just that, you'll see in verse 9, she actually attributes that all to God's blessing. Here, this is Israel living as they were supposed to, as a missional nation, being an attraction to other nations as they saw Israel live under God's rule and blessing. And once again, you can see, can't you, so many of the fulfillments of God's promises to Abraham. God promised to Abraham, I'll make you a great nation, and now Israel are so great that other pagan queens are coming to see them. God promised to Abraham that I will bless those who bless you. Here we see someone else being blessed through God's blessing to Israel. You see that Queen of Sheba blesses Solomon in verses 6 to 10, and she in return is blessed by him, verse 13. God promised to Abraham that through you all people on the earth will be blessed. And once again we see that happen in the life of the Queen of Sheba. In the New Testament, in Luke chapter 11 verses 27 to 32, the Queen of Sheba is referenced by Jesus and used to rebuke religious people in his day. You see, the Queen of Sheba didn't know much about King Solomon. She'd heard about his glory and his splendor, and so she inquired, she made an effort to investigate his claims more. But you see, Solomon was ultimately pointing forward to someone else of ultimate glory and ultimate splendor, that person being Jesus Christ. Yet the religious leaders of Jesus' day, they didn't just hear about the amazing nature and power and splendor of Jesus Christ. They had it right up close. They were walking the same streets as him. They could see his miracles. Yet they rejected him. Queen of Sheba had been given little light, yet she investigated to know more. The religious leaders of Jesus' day had much light, yet they rejected Jesus on the evidence that was so obvious and clear. And so, what about you? You too, like the religious leaders of Jesus' day, have been given much light regarding who Jesus is. You've been given much knowledge. We've been given his word in its fullness. Will you, like those religious leaders, reject him? Or will you, like the Queen of Sheba, investigate him more, get to know him more, and ultimately come to the same conclusion that she did in verse 9 and say, "Blessed be our Lord and God"?